Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Lone Wolf Challenge. In the last episode, our tribe was discovered by a most lethal predator. Perhaps it was lured here by Mulberry's misfortune, but either way, only Daylily is left to pick up the pieces. Her fragmented family has completely succumbed to the violence here, but she does have some silver linings, like this new friendly bear Yina that she's managed to sway to her side with a little bit of extra food. She has discovered that he's much more even-tempered than his mother was, and he even regrets her actions too. So much of this sadness could have been avoided if only the two families hadn't jumped to attack. So Daylily has made it her mission now to ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. She might just be the mother to the guards of this island, because it's quite clear that we need a little bit of that extra strength. Luckily, one hero managed to come through for us, and if not for Kuro, then we may have lost even more creatures to that battle. He's also leaving behind one little son with a nice big vicious claw, as well as some pretty interesting mixes of genes. He has the platypus beak, but to be honest, I'm not sure if we should really use the worms as a food source for the challenge. We're leaving all meat behind us, so I'm not sure if the insects would be pushing it a little bit too far. So we can't use the bear Yina meat, unfortunately. That's probably going to get picked up by the bear Yina itself. Maybe as a way to set his own mother's remains to rest. But we can't forget about Paisley and Daisy. And I think I'm going to skip the day as we watch them, just to make sure that nothing nefarious comes out from the darkness here, because they are deep in the heart of the jungle now. Daisy has actually discovered our very first stinky fruit tree, which is very good for her mission. If she picks up these stinky fruits, then she'll have plenty of stinky fruit juices for her friend to lick off of her. So that should help us toward the licking actions for the person out in the mutation menu. Let's have her sniff around first though, just in case. I know that we do have one of those carnivorous plants out here. She's probably made it very clear to Paisley not to go too close. With her bird beak, she's actually pretty hard at smelling. She only has a 1 in the smelling skill, so it's pretty dangerous out here for her. That being said, Paisley does not seem like the type to me to turn down a challenge, and in fact, she probably is having the time of her life out here. So let's bring Paisley over to the stump. She should still be safe right up on top, and she even has access to some of the roots over here too, as well as even more healing fruits. We were following the trail over here, almost as if Daisy's father had left those for her, so she would be able to find the stinky fruit trees. So it's good to see that there are even more ways for you to heal your family, if only you could bring them up to the jungles. So let's have her grab her very first stinky fruits, and then we'll have Paisley lick off those juices. It always takes 2 actions to get rid of the smell completely, and that means we probably shouldn't have Daisy pick any more until she has a little bit more energy to work with. We'll have her start clearing out the grasses around her instead, because goodness knows they could use a bit of cleaning up around here. If anything does spawn on those trees, they better make sure that they have a very quick escape route to get to. I'm pretty sure if there were any apes in the jungles right now, we would be able to hear them moving around. They usually make quite a bit of noise when we pass the night, so fingers crossed that means that they're going to be safe. Hopefully they weren't waiting for our creatures to make their way into the jungle before they decide to spawn. It looked like everything was safe over here too. We still have the Crabbit army invading, of course. They seem to be quite attracted by those peacock tails for some reason. So I guess pretty soon, Bandersnatch, you might just end up being the king of the Crabbits, taking your father's place, of course. It kind of makes me wonder if maybe he had more kids out somewhere. I mean, he was pretty old when he came to our tribe, so there's probably a good possibility that he has some sort of family out here in these grasses. Maybe we'll discover some more heroes as we spend our days in the jungle. But for now, we better clean up our home. We have a few extra berries for you to pick up, Daylily. It would be nice if maybe Vankir would send us some rains. Goodness knows all of these bushes could use it, and it would help us restore our food supplies too. I suppose we could always bring her down to the palm trees, but I think right now she'd be a bit more concerned with lighting up the way to the healing fruits. That was kind of what caused her mother and her aunt to pass away. They just couldn't make it to the true medicine in time. So let's have Daylily light up the way. We'll see if maybe her bear Yina's shadow will follow her. And we'll make sure that Kuro picks up the grasses around here too. I guess right next to the nest will do. We should probably just leave little Bandersnatch in here to rest. That way he can spend a little bit of extra time mourning over his mother. The mother that he never got the chance to know. So let's go ahead and skip the day again, losing one of our most powerful tribe mates. So hopefully nobody in the darkness takes notice. It seems as though our friendly Beryena may have grown up a little bit more. Yes, he is an adult now. Well, technically we could set up a baby between him and Daylily then. I mean, I feel like with their close bond, it's only a matter of time before they end up starting a family. The only problem is it's going to be even more difficult for us to work Beryena babies into our challenge, because it just depends where the Beryena decides to roam. If he does stick close to the berry bushes, that'll be easy enough. But as it is, Bandersnatch is currently taking up this nest. We'll have him pick up the berries, we'll have him clear out the grass around here. That way his home will be nice and tidy. But if we bring Daylily to the Beryena's side, she's going to have to go all the way up to this nest to have her baby, or at least one of the other berry bushes nearby. Yeah, actually, maybe we don't want to use that nest. That one is kind of reserved just for Daisy. She's probably expecting that she has a nice warm nest to go back to when she's done with her mission, because I'm sure the Doflamingo is still lurking around there too. Well, let's at least make sure that we set up their mutation menus, or Daylily's at least. We won't be able to touch the Beryenas, but we can set up Daylily's for a healthy family. High fertility, of course. That one is going to have to be number 1. Beryenas are notorious for giving us some pretty poor fertility, and that's something that our tribe has been struggling with as of late. Now, she has an H immunity gene. Oh no, was that one of the immunities that the Beryenas could pass? Oh, that would be such a bummer if all of her babies end up getting sick. Surely that's not going to be the case. Somebody's gotta be looking out for your family, right? I know Vankier doesn't mind the claws too much. But I was thinking that maybe the guards could be connected to Comet instead. They could be like Comet's champions even, roaming on the outskirts of the jungles and making sure that the heart of the tribe is kept safe. So even if they can't collect food for our challenge, if they do end up having 2 of those giant claws, their role is still going to be very important too. I think we'll go ahead and leave the second slot open though, just in case we find something else that might be a little bit more helpful for their babies. Then we'll go ahead and breed Daylily with the Beryena. Hopefully, there we go. And she can make her way up to the nest on the next turn. Now everything is still nice and quiet out here, right? No wanderers moving around. But if you keep picking up those stinky fruits, it's probably only a matter of time. We'll have Daylily grab a nice big fistful again, and then lick off those stinky juices like always. It's some tedious work, but it is also some of the most important. If only we had a few more creatures to help you with the job. I probably shouldn't say that. Yeah, let's pretend that we never said that at all. We don't want any more Beryenas coming out to wound our creatures. That was how Daylily helped us with our task in the last episode. Now I hope our little Beryena is going to follow Daylily. We'll bring her up here, have her scoot her way to the healing fruit. Oh my gosh, the Doflamingo is still in the nest. Yeah, so this one is very clearly taken. I don't think she would try to push the Doflamingo away, but she could use the berry bush that was right next to the healing fruit. I did see a little bunny skittering around in there just like before, so unfortunately all the berries are probably stolen. But it might be the best place for her to start her family anyways, since she is so connected to the art of healing. Yeah, we're definitely going to need some creatures with some claws to go up there soon, because there are too many thieves in the darkness. So grab the last of your berries, Bandersnatch, and then you'd best follow in Daylily's shadow. She needs you now more than ever before. Now this is all well and good, but I'd imagine that Paisley is probably starting to get a little bit bored. Just sitting on top of this stump all day? That is no life for her. She does appreciate this adventure though, maybe even more than she's willing to say. Of course, she doesn't even realize the full extent of the damage back at home. Her mother's gone, her family is completely broken, but that was a burden that she just couldn't stand. It kind of makes me wonder if maybe Paisley would prefer to stay out here. Maybe she'll decide to never go back to the main camp. Still have quite a bit more time before Daisy's ready to turn back, And we need to make sure that we make our nest for Daylily on this turn too. Oh my gosh, that scared me for a moment. But it looks like our Bergina is coming after us. Oh, thank goodness. So just like I figured, he's kind of like our protector from the shadows. He's making sure that Daylily is going to be nice and safe as she sets down her very first nest. So go ahead and collect the berries before any of those pesky bunnies get ideas. And we'll have Bandersnatch curl around this way. Ooh, I think I did see a little bunny go skittering into the grasses. Yeah, there's quite a few out here for you to hunt down. We just need to worm your way around all of those rocks, of course. So let's have Daylily go ahead and clear out the grasses too. That should make it easier for him to hunt soon. And it'll make it easier on her baby as well. A guaranteed bearer of the Bergina Claw. Now I think you might actually be down to the last of your stinky fruits over here. Yeah, looks like you may have wiped this tree clean. So Paisley might just get her wish for adventure after all. Let's see if we can figure out where the next closest stinky fruit tree would be. Oh my gosh, way back here, wait a second. With carnivorous plants all around, healing fruits too, but so many jungle trees. What are the odds that all of these jungle trees are safe? That would be a very, very dangerous mission. Not to mention we also have the carnivorous plant out here. So if we are going to risk it and start going through the center of the jungle, we're going to want to make sure that Daisy is in the lead. Oh my gosh, and there's more healing fruits out here. I swear these have to have been planted by Jay himself. It seems far too fitting that there are so many lighting her path ahead. The curiosity of a healer always sets them on the right course. If only the same could be said for Daylily, but she wasn't given the same gift as her sister was. Or maybe she was? It just took a little bit longer to materialize. Oh my gosh, our first little purse now born on this island? Ah, so it was the luck of the Berginas after all. Now this baby has some pretty good genes for the jungle too. The big ears means that not only is he going to have a buff in hearing, but he should also be able to cool himself down a bit more easily. He won't have the same struggle as the rest of his family did, like Jay with his heat body. But gosh, I love that bright white mane that he has. It's like a flash of bright white flames. I love how it contrasts against all of his dark fur. The next name on my list is Akio. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but welcome to our tribe, little one. You should make an excellent addition to Van Kier's guard as well, or Comet's champions as we're going to call them. He doesn't have 2 claws though. He has the nimble fingers as well, so he can still collect food for us too. But honestly, with that purse now, I don't think that Daylily is going to let this little one out of her sight. He is far too important. He could be the one who saves her family in the future. So let's make sure that we're keeping track of our friendly Bergina. It might be a little bit too early to breed with him now, but we've got to know his general location. You know, I think he might be back here trying to chase those bunnies for us. So you better get in on the action too. Otherwise, by the time you get back here, every last one of those bunnies is going to be gone. Now hang on a second. Are you really coming from this side to take the berries instead? Daylily, you better grab those up right away. We'll have you clear out even more of the grasses, and we'll have Bandersnatch sit right here. That way he should be able to protect your berry bush from this side. And no wonder it's been so hard. It looks like we actually do have a little bunny burrow right here, so they've probably been spawning directly behind your home. Oh my goodness, and the Crabbit army is still invading from the shores. What on earth does this mean? Like, who do you think is calling these Crabbits to our tribe right now? Is it truly all because of Bandersnatch's peacock tail? We did call him the king of Crabbits, so I guess they really weren't kidding. That peacock tail is just far too grand, and I guess the Crabbits of the ocean are a bit more vain than we took them for. So let's see if we can bring you two deeper into the jungles now. I see that we have a little bit of debris between these 2 healing plants, but I think we're going to have to risk it. We'll have Daisy go ahead and pick up the grasses, and I feel like it would be pretty fitting for Paisley to be the one to make all the noise. She is a little bit more reckless than Daisy is. But as long as it doesn't call any danger to us, Daisy would be willing to follow. We're lucky that she has the big nose, because that means that she can smell just far enough to ensure she won't be walking into danger. Oh, and look at this. Another little stump, right next to one of the big trees of the jungle. There are roots right here that we can't interact with. I guess if we bring Paisley up here, we can see if this tree is one of the dangerous ones. It doesn't look like we can knock down any acorns from this, and I've heard from you guys that that's what marks it as an ape spawning tree. So we're going to assume that as long as we can't interact with the trees, that means it's safe for us to settle down here. Now I see we have some roots out this way, so maybe this would be a good direction to lead Paisley toward. We'll have her settle down right here, and on the next turn she can scoop up a few more of those snacks for you. I guess we could always have them worm their way down the shore instead. It would be a little bit less dangerous than walking right underneath all of these jungle trees, and it might make their journey a bit faster as well. We still want them to be able to make their way back home after all. So let's go ahead and skip the day again. Akio's very first night in the heart of the tribe, and let's pray that it's not a dangerous one. So far so good. I didn't hear any danger at least. Oh, and it looks like we have another wanderer out here. Ooh, interesting, another wanderer with the digging paw. So I would assume that this is probably another member of the rogue male's family. Ramiko and Rana both had digging paws too, so it seems like a prominent trait. Well, let's have Daylily scoot on over to his side, and hopefully he won't skitter away before we can say hello. There you are, little one. Little Taku. Oh, that is an adorable name. He has the heat body? Seriously? Oh my gosh, that would be terrible for the jungle. Can you imagine? We don't even have access to any of the mountain biomes from this place, so I can't imagine that would be a good thing for us to breed into our tribe. That being said, you can still help us with the roots, so I think we are going to invite you to the tribe. We'll have Daylily offer up 5 pieces of her food. That way we won't have to worry about you stealing them either. And I see that one of our crabbits has wormed his way around the shore, probably trying to get to you, Bandersnatch. Well, why don't you go ahead and jump on top of this bunny burrow? That should stop the bunnies from spawning, and it'll make sure that you can grab the berries too. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention, this gene right here is probably just the Berryina claw. Now that we've bred with the Berryina, all of the genes that we unlock on our babies will then show up inside our mutation menu. So nothing too special, but still pretty helpful for the future. Nobody's going to be messing with our little tribe anymore. Now as we go ahead and clear out a little bit more of this grass here, let's have Taku see if he can show Daylily where all the roots are. I know that we have a few up here for him to dig up, so go ahead and jump in the nest for a moment. Well, I'm sure Daisy would not be too impressed with you, especially because it seems like you're scaring her Doflamingo friend away. I figured they would be the pests of this island, but I guess they're a bit friendlier toward Fankier's followers than we thought. Somebody has to keep the baby's nest warm. Now the next turn, little one, you should be ready to go claim a berry bush all your own. We might need to find another one for Daylily to pick up too, maybe even right back here where she was born. I suppose she could even show her son that faded place. A place that holds so many dark memories for her, but it's still very important to their heritage. Now how many days do we have left on these 2 ladies back here? Daisy has 10 days remaining, Paisley has 13. Honestly, I was kind of hoping that we would see some wandering creatures spawn out this way, but I guess there's always the possibility that they might be waiting in this clearing. Maybe somebody else has already settled down there, and they're just bound to run into them. So go ahead and dig up those roots just like we promised. And then I guess we'll bring Daisy right here. Go ahead and sniff around too, just in case. Still lit up by the healing plants, that's always a good sign. I guess that means that Jay approves of this method. So let's scoot our ladies to the shore. Daisy can follow, sniffing all the while. Smelling more of those roots in the distance, and even some little shells in the water too. I'm still not 100% convinced that this first tile right here won't drown our creatures, so I'm not going to risk it with Daisy. But after we have a few more creatures out this way to work with, I would imagine that Paisley would be just the type to jump into the ocean after the shells. So you're just around the bend from the stinky fruit clearing? Now I hope it's not going to be difficult for you guys to collect from that. If these two carnivorous plants are feeling a little bit hostile, that is going to be very tricky indeed. But let's go ahead and skip the day once more, as our guards all watch the darkness, careful and cautious as always. Just in time for another one of Vankir's harvests. This is actually one of our first rains in a while, and I thought it might make sense for this tribe to use these harvests to their advantage, almost on like a spiritual level. Perhaps when Vankir is kind enough to give us a harvest like this, every last creature must drop what they're doing and go straight to the nearest berry bush. That's going to be difficult for you two because I don't think you have very many to work with. But I guess that means you better make your way down the shore right now. Oh, and wait a second, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. There are bunnies out here that we have to contend with after all. So let's make sure that Taku grabs every last one of these berries. There's only one left on that berry bush, and that might end up going to the bunnies. I wonder if it would be considered bad luck if you let the bunnies get the berries during a harvest. Each berry must be treated as if it could be their last after all. If you don't respect the harvest, then Vankir could just as easily take it away. Well, go ahead and finish cleaning off this berry bush for us, Bandersnatch, and then let's see if we can find you one of your own. This one right here is definitely safe for you to pick from. Oh no, but I saw a bunny over there too. Oh, it's been completely picked clean. That's some unfortunate luck. We certainly don't want you picking from the poisonberry bushes, so I guess you're going to have to do a little bit more searching. We'll bring you out here so you can take care of those bunnies for us too. It's interesting how our Bergina has pretty much stayed in the dark. Like he is literally living up to his role as a protective shadow for Daylily. It's pretty cute though, and it helps us keep track of him too. Did these two literally just block your path? Oh my gosh, Daylily, she actually can't get past the Dodomingo or the Crabbit? Well, let's have you go ahead and pick up this grass right here. That way you can scoot on over to the berry bush. There's still plenty of berries left on this one, so you should have lots of food to show to Akio on the next turn. Now let's make sure that you guys aren't being hunted down by leeches. It looks like all is safe by the ocean, so let's have you make your way into the clearing next. We'll bring Paisley to the ports. Ooh, that has to have her quite curious. We are far away from leaving on any more adventures, but I wonder if her family will be the ones to eventually set sail. So all Daisy can smell right now are basically these healing fruits. She can smell the fruit, she can smell the stinky fruits, but we don't quite know the state of the carnivorous plants yet. And of course, the one that's closest to us is actually feeling a little bit hostile. The good news is there isn't any other danger in here, so we might still be okay to pick the stinky fruits. And I'd imagine that probably counts as a good harvest too, so they're still following Vankir's ways. Now one more time, let's go ahead and skip the day again, so we can bring Akio back to his mother's homelands. Oh, how precious. His own father has come up to spend time with him now, though it is a little bit worrying that he seems to be attracting Mulberry's misfortune. Maybe Akio should take this knowledge back to Daylily. I wonder if his mother's passing is finally getting to him. But first, Daylily is going to grab each and every last one of these berries. Oh, and I did notice that our Dodomingo friend passed away as well. That's kind of sad. So I guess he won't be able to keep your nest warm any longer, Daisy. But he did a very good job. I'm sure you would be proud of that little Dodomingo if you were back at home. So one last time, let's go ahead and pick some more of these stinky fruits. That way we can get 2 more of these licking actions out of the way. If you would like to come over here, Paisley, thank you very much. I know it's very tedious work and it's not very exciting, but you gotta take what you can get around here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our mutation menu and see how close we are to unlocking the purse now. Literally halfway there, 15 out of 30 licking actions. So Daisy, you might actually be able to do it. She only has 8 days remaining on her lifespan, and I would like to think about maybe bringing somebody back there. If we're not going to find any wanderers out here in the clearing, we do still have some males that would probably make for pretty good partners for both Daisy and Paisley. It would just be a very long journey for them. And in the next episode, we'll probably have some more BBs between Daylily and the Bear unit too. Strengthening Comet's champions, of course. Maybe we should change their gem colors? Maybe we could even change the middle gem to the orange color? That would represent the healing fruit. And since Daylily is so connected to the healing fruits herself, with purse out babies and everything, yeah, this will be the mark of Comet's champions. We might as well make Bandersnatch an official member of Comet's champions too. Given his heritage, he definitely deserves it. So if nothing else, the rains must mean that Vankir is finally pleased with our tribe. After all of the chaos, he knows that they deserve a nice, good feast, and a nice chance to relax before the next danger strikes. So for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!